when I heard this story last night, I was so upset. I was so upset, like it was my brother or my cousin or an uncle or someone that I knew and loved that had to go this or not. This young lady accused three young men who were at the prime of their lives, who were in university, college, and they were playing sports, foot lacrosse. I think is a particular sports they're playing in the university. Three young men who were just beginning their lives, discovering themselves, and she accused them of the big R. And she was detailed in terms of what they did and who did what and how it all occurred. And it all turned out that it was a lie. Am I surprised? No, but I am very, very furious. I'm very furious because I understand the impact that the big R has on real victims. How it takes away their innocence, how it takes away their vitality, how it takes away their dreams, their hopes, how it impacts their sense of self-worth and self-significance, how it impacts them and how they blame themselves and what did I do? How did I attract this on myself? And how someone can sit down and create a lie of this magnitude, not on one person, not on two people, on three people, and stick with that line of statement. And then 20 years down the line, this is what you have to see. You're talking about love. You're talking about how you love them. How you're talking about how God is showing them how he loves them through you and that they can go on with their lives. How do you get 20 years back, sis? How do you get 20 years back? Because if that mindset is not the mindset of someone who has questionable mental capacity, I don't know what is. I don't know, because it is so annoying to me. Women do lie. And this has an impact because for every survivor who is telling her truth about what she experienced and how that it is affecting her, now the question will be, you know, women do lie. You know, how are we show that? How are we show that? How are we show that? Those questions starts to play out. I'm going to let you listen in and hear her confess on a podcast with an imaginably awesome podcaster who is interested in mindset and how people think and what leads them to make a decision. And I'm going to come on the other side and tell you my thoughts. Just listen in.
I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't, and that was wrong. And I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me and made up a story that wasn't true because I wanted validation from people and not from God. And that was wrong when God already loved me for who I was, regardless. And I hurt my brothers. I hope that they can forgive me. And I want them to know that I love them. And they didn't deserve that. And I hope they can forgive me. And that I hope that they can heal and trust God and know that God loves them and that God is loving them through me, letting them know that they're valuable and that they didn't deserve that.
Let's be clear where she's given this interview from. She's given this interview from a jail cell. Yes, because she's in there because, of course, like I said, she has questionable mental capacity because she's in jail for allegedly being behind transitioning her boyfriend into another, away from the physical earth. That's what she's in jail for. And so you have to ask a question like, why do people, you did it for what? For spotlight? Because obviously it appears that she might be having self-image issues, self-confidence issues, and she has how many seconds of fame where everybody was speaking her name and coming to her defense, online, offline. And then she had what she wanted, the attention. Did she lack attention? Sometimes that's what we talk about, the experiences that you have when you were much younger and how it plays out in your adulthood. And this is a very ugly way it plays out, because if she had no attention, she sought love, sought validation, sought attention, sought value, seek from somebody else, and no one was in her emotional space to provide all of those things, then you can understand. I'm not saying you can approve of it, but at least you can understand why she would go to the extent that she went to, where she accuses people and she becomes a fake victim only so that she can solicit support and love and companionship from other people who will come to her defense and fight her cause. Unfortunately, it was all a lie. It was all a lie. It was all a lie. And this also goes to the brothers. Sorry, I have the sun in my face. This also goes to the brothers. You got to stop thinking with your pants. I don't know how else to say this, but you have to stop thinking with your pants. If you are in a place where there are women and where there are alcohol, you have to be very careful. Even if you know who those women were, because there's so many stories about people whose lives have been significantly impacted by lies by women. I'll show you another story about a young pro football athlete who lost his college career just because of a lie as well.
Petition is granted.
The end of Brian Banks' ordeal was marked by tears after a judge threw out the rape charge that had sent him to prison for more than 5 years.
My only dream in the world was to just be free and to have the same opportunity as everybody here.
He was a 16-year-old star linebacker with a full-ride scholarship to USC and had dreamed to play in the NFL when in 2002, a classmate accused Banks of rape in the stairwell of their Long Beach high school. Although Banks insisted it was consensual and there was no sex, he told KCBS TV that his defense attorney at the time gave him a choice: plead no contest to rape or risk a trial that could send him to prison for life.
When you go into that courtroom, the jury is going to see a big black teenager and you're automatically going to be assumed guilty. Those are her exact words.
He took the deal, went to prison, and had to register as a sex offender. He thought that was the end of it. But after he was released, came a surprise: a friend request on Facebook from his accuser, Juanetta Gibson.
I remember closing the laptop just like real quick and just like thinking, like, what did I just see?
So Banks arranged a meeting with a private investigator who videotaped the whole thing.
No, he did not.
Gibson later explained she hadn't wanted to say that publicly for fear of losing a $1.5 million settlement that her family had gotten after suing the school district.
These lies have impact. So brothers, when it comes to women, when it comes to alcohol or whatever else beverage they're serving, you have to be careful. Because, don't say it's consensual. No. Because we live in a very delicate world where people, unfortunately, do it. And one lady actually claimed that she was mentally ill. That's why she did what she did. Like, okay, but you've ruined people's lives. You've ruined people's lives already. So you cannot say that you can't get 20 years back. So brothers have to be careful who they're hanging out with, the circles they're in, who are your witnesses. Don't go around, don't get so carried away at a party where you were so drunk that you cannot remember exactly all of the events that happened. Don't take a drink. Back home in Africa, when we go to social circles, we're very careful about leaving our drinks open. We don't like it when people, we're not comfortable leaving our drinks like in a glass or in a bottle. And then we go to use the restroom, we come back and we continue with that drink. No. Because there's been horrible stories about people whose drinks have been spiked. They took the drink and they don't even know what happened to them. So you gotta be careful what you're drinking, who's serving you the drinks. I would rather you take a bottled drink with a cover and you open that drink yourself and you do not part from your drink until you've completely consumed it. And do not drink to a point. You know your capacity. You should know your capacity. You should not engage in drinking beyond the point where you cannot remember the events. If you know you are a 4-bottle guy, stick to 4 bottles, please. And if you have friends who keep nudging you on, oh, come on, you're such a softie, you're coming, you're such a this, you're such a that, go for the 5th one, then those are not your friends, because good friends will look out for you and look out for your interests. So you should have friends with you when you go to parties, the same group of friends who look out for each other, who will say, okay, when I'm at this point, please, and I want to go beyond it, pull me away, or it's time for us to go home. Or one of us has got to be the responsible one who will not drink on that night and be the one to drive us home. You need to now start, because you can just live life, you know, like, oh, we're young. No. You have to have plans for when things don't go exactly how it's supposed to go. It's thinking in advance. It's being proactive in your thinking, preparing for for an eventuality that nobody prays for, but you have to be prepared for, because that is the reality of the world that we live in. There are women who are just out to ruin young men's lives. And so when you hear all of this vial being spilled in the blue, red pill environment, a lot of times I believe if we think deep and look deep and research deep, there are men who were hurt. So when you say, oh, women are the way they are because they were hurt, there are men who are the way they are because there are women in their lives who have hurt them significantly and have altered their thinking capacity and their ability to trust, that you can actually trust another woman and have a good, healthy relationship with another woman. So some of this vial being spat out in the red pill spaces could be from hurting men. Is that acceptable? No. But could you understand why? Yes. So it's a delicate time for delicate choices and delicate decisions. Okay? Just because I know because women are fragile, it's been said that we are the weaker sex, you know, in quotes. And so people, obviously, when things like this happen, most men are more physically stronger than women. So obviously you would think, oh, he's more physical, he's stronger than she is, so of course he must have overpowered her and then taken advantage. But it's not always true, unfortunately. Let me know in your comments if you've had an experience or know someone whose life have been impacted, and keep it respectable. Thank you.